For more on the politics swirling on both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, there's always a lot. We turn to Corinne Jean-Pierre. She's a senior advisor to MoveOn.org, a contributing editor to Bustle. That's an online women's magazine. And she's a veteran of the Obama administration. And Matt Schlapp. He's the chairman of the American Conservative Union and the former White House political director under President George W. Bush. And we should note for the record tonight that Matt's wife, Mercedes Schlapp, is now a senior communications advisor to President Trump. Matt, this is something the White House announced today, and we want to put it out on the table.
I'm going and I got to get home and make dinner, so we got to get going here.
One of you is gainfully employed. I want to start. I was talking to Yamiche Alcindor about DACA, but I want to turn to you now, Corinne, and ask you about health care. And Senator Bernie Sanders has been talking for some months about this. Today, he formally rolled out his proposal to have Medicare for all. He has, what, 16 or so Democratic co-sponsors. What does this look like? How do you read this move by these Democrats?
I think it's a great way forward. We have a third of the Democratic caucus essentially in the Senate who have signed on. A lot of them are rumored to be running for 2020. I think this is a great sign for the party forward and also for American people. Health care is a right, not a privilege. And all Americans should have health care from the moment that they're born until they die. And I think, you know, people have been asking me, oh, well, is this a political play? It's not going to work. And I am glad that Democrats are standing for what's morally right, the right thing to do. And it's about the country, not about the party. But it does send a strong unifying message, I believe.
What are the chances, Matt, that Republicans and Democrats can work together in any form or fashion on health care, including this one?
This is the problem, is the right side of the table sees government too large, too intervening, too involved in these markets. And here you have the Democrats. This is quite shocking. After Obamacare passed not that many years ago, and they didn't want to have nationalized, centralized health care, they specifically went to set up these state exchanges. This is, in essence, an indictment of Obamacare. It's not working. It's not covering everyone as they said it would. And they have a new plan. And the new plan is the old plan, which is a plan from the 1960s, which is the federal government will pay all the bills, and the taxpayers will pick up all those bills. And I think that makes it very hard for the two sides to come together.
There is a sentiment, though. I mean, the polls are showing that there is increasing not only support for Obamacare, but I noticed Bernie Sanders quoted in his poll today that even, I think he said, 45% of Republicans like the idea of expanding Medicare.
Yeah, it is actually very popular, unlike the Republicans' version of their health care, which they tried about 2-3 times. That was incredibly unpopular. But here's the thing. I don't think it is a statement against Obamacare. Obamacare actually covered 30 million people. It actually is working according to the Congressional Budget Office, which is an independent office, which is led by Paul Ryan's person of that office. So I disagree. I think we need to start taking it to the next step. And I think this is what single payer is all about, Medicare for all is all about, is taking it to the next step.
The problem is Obamacare didn't work, which is why Bernie Sanders is saying he wants to try to cover everyone in a new way. And the is that Obamacare has left millions of people not covered. And I think if you look at the numbers, for 4 successive elections, I'll give you Obama's reelect, which you guys did a great job on, but for 4 successive elections, this was the #1 issue, and Republicans had the better argument politically. We got our congressional majorities over fighting Obamacare. It's a false hope to expect that Obamacare is now popular and will take the Democrats to political winning. It just won't happen.
But just quickly, do Republicans have the votes to repeal Obamacare?
Well, we've seen that they failed. And by the way, I've been pretty honest with that. Failure to live up to their promise to repeal and replace is disastrous for them politically. But don't assume that that means that this nation wants centralized health care for all. That's a big mistake.
All right, Matt, I'm going to turn you to talk about, both of you, to talk about tax reform, the administration, the White House saying this is something that they are going to focus on this fall. What are the prospects? We're hearing from the Treasury Secretary today saying this is going to be revenue neutral. We're not going to have it's not going to change how much money the government takes in, even if we cut taxes for certain middle income.
They have said so many things at so many different points. They're going to come out with a new set of principles, they say, on the 25th of this month. And I think we have a chance still to get a tax bill done. I don't think it'll be fully paid for. I actually think it'll aggravate the deficit. But most Republicans and most conservatives, who dominate the Republican Party, are not so concerned about its effect on the deficit as they are the effect of a tax cut on the economy. We want to grow this economy and create job and economic opportunities for Americans. That's the benchmark that conservatives care about.
Why wouldn't that be appealing to Democrats?
Well, I think from what we're hearing really primarily, which is what even Democrats are meeting with Donald Trump tonight, which is that it is not actually a tax reform, it's a tax cut to the wealthy millionaires and billionaires and corporations. And I think that's what we do not want. That's what Democrats will not stand for. And I think that is what we're hearing.
The hard part in that is that you have to actually cut the taxes of the people who pay taxes. And if you want to increase economic and job prospects for Americans, you got to encourage people to create jobs. Unfortunately, the people who create jobs are people that run small businesses, own small businesses, are in important positions in corporations. So you kind of can't have it both ways. Do we want to help the American people economically or not?
But you can't do it on the backs of middle-class Americans.
I totally agree. They should have a tax cut, too.
But what are the prospects to both of you for any kind of serious tax reform this fall?
I would say it's got a 75–80% chance of passing this fall, but there's hurdles.
But you're saying it's going to take down the deficit.
It's going
to raise the deficit
Judy,
and take down revenue.
My belief is these tax provisions will not be permanent. They will be temporary in nature. They will not be revenue neutral. And I do think we have a chance to pick up some Democratic votes on both the House and the Senate. Not the 8 to go through the regular order. I think it still goes through reconciliation. I think we'll get some Democrats because #resistance on taxes for Democrats from red states is not a good strategy.
Well, the Democrats from red states are saying they're not going to allow the tax cuts that we're talking about just for the wealthy. So we'll see. I think we need to see a lot more of what's going to be coming forward. There's going to be a meeting tonight, a dinner tonight. Let's see what comes out of it.
Yeah, they have a seat at the table. Let's see if they can work it out.
The president is spending more time with Democrats. I mean, last week cut the deal with Democrats over.
I'm okay with it.
Over the debt limit.
He's everyone's president. Let's see if he can cut a deal. Let's see if he can find common ground. This is what presidents should do.
They're just about to sit down as we sit here. We'll find out what they